guys, I have here a marathon training shoe that's carbon plated. I bought it at a very low price. It's the Anta C202 HP or the Anta HP, and I've used it for quite a while. With that, I'll share with you what I think about it. Now, I don't have any direct comparison with Anta C202 or G21 lines on where this one sits. It's priced similarly to their very low end stuff. This clearly isn't entry level. It's not top tier either, but it doesn't feel like a budget shoe as well, so it makes this even more interesting. Now, I couldn't find much info about this shoe. It's not listed anywhere on Anta's official website. Just some marketing materials and product images from where I bought it. I bought it at a very affordable 2,600 pesos or 44 USD converted. From what I saw in the product images, it's labeled HP, or meaning high performance. It's also a long-distance marathon training shoe. It does say marathon training, indicating that the Anta HP is more suitable as a training shoe for those very long distances. For me, it can also double as a race day shoe. It features a full-length carbon plate, a wear-resistant outsole. Before buying, I thought this would be similar to how runners would use the Deviate Nitro 2 or the A6 Superblast. And after having used it, this is leaning towards the A6 Superblast. It's kind of like good on fast workouts, but not quite as good on easy paces, as this does not feel like a very relaxed shoe. Now, let's head over to the specs. It has a 39.6 millimeter stack height in the heel and a 31.6 millimeter stack height in the forefoot, giving it an 8 millimeter drop. Without the insole, it's 33 millimeters at the heel and 25 millimeters at the forefoot. That info is based on a men's US size 8. I don't have any info about the weight or the reference size 8, but on my men's US 10, it weighs at around 280 grams. This really isn't a very soft upper material, but it's not harsh. If you have wider feet, it might be uncomfortable, and while I found this shoe accommodating, there may be a potential problem. The overlay extends to where your pinky toes would be, and because of how roomy it is with the stiffer material and structured overlay, my toes tend to go up and down to cause some rubbing, which may be uncomfortable. You might need to size up half a size if you have very wide feet. It was only a minor inconvenience for me. The upper did break in over time. It got a little soft. As for people with very narrow feet, I don't think you should size down on this. It might come up short. At least for me, I found it true to size. The toe cap here isn't designed to repel water since there's a cutout here. This seems to be mainly just to provide structure to the toe box and add some durability. The heel has decent padding, but the material doesn't grip very well, so it caused me a bit of heel slippage. A runner's loop did help, and I only noticed slight sliding, but it wasn't enough to bother me anymore. I do like the heel flare. It's easy to use when putting the shoes on. There's also a pull tab if you prefer it. The laces here are a nice touch. Does get the job done and provides a good lockdown without needing to over tighten your shoes. There aren't many structural overlays on the sides. It holds your foot very well. What I don't like is the tongue. The tongue isn't great. It's not soft. I personally like thin tongues, but this one just has synthetic overlay, which I think is done a bit too much. Combined with the lace overlays, which work well on their own, but with the tongue, it just makes it a very, very restrictive kind of fit. I had to wear higher cut socks and thicker socks to avoid discomfort. It's right around at the front of my ankle area. This was a minor inconvenience for me. It didn't cause too much problems though. As for marathon training and durability, the product page markets this as a long distance marathon training shoe with focus on durability and high performance. The reason for HP in the name. I do agree with some of the design choices that make it good for training and its longevity. I spoke about the heel padding here, which adds more than enough comfort. While I'm not a fan of the tongue, it's a minor inconvenience and the trade-off is weight savings. There's full coverage of the outsole and no exposed foam, aside from the cutout here with the exposed carbon plate. As you can see in this area, I'm not sure if clearly see that. There is some wear, which I noticed right after around 30 kilometers, but it hasn't gotten any worse. We'll see the more I keep using this. Now, the outsole grips well, but it isn't super grippy. It's fine overall, but I have some reservations about it when using it on wet weather. On wet surfaces, I did run on these and it wasn't really the best. So just be cautious when you're using this on wet surfaces. Now let's talk about the midsole and the feel and ride of this shoe. On initial step in, the Anta HP feels soft underfoot, but not kind of soft that's a sinking sensation. Even though the midsole feels soft when you apply some pressure to it, the combination with the plate gives you this firmer and responsive ride when running. It did soften up over time though. It was harsh on my first run, but now it's a bit softer and a bit more mellow after breaking in. Now, I can feel some springiness, but it's not a bouncy or trampoline-like effect, as this has more of that rolling sensation. Like the 361 Degrees Flame 3 or the A6 Super Blast, they help guide you smoothly to that roll-off instead of a bouncy pop of the toe feel. The plate and the rocker geometry combines help you roll forward seamlessly in the shoe. As for stability, the sidewalls from the midfoot to the heel do a good job of preventing the foot from wobbling. With a wide enough base, the shoe does provide a little bit of stability, though it's not a stability shoe. I like the heel bevel of the Anta HP. I don't heel strike quite as much, but I do find myself heel striking sometimes, even though it's not the softest. Again, with that rolling guidance, it just feels really smooth. I did enjoy using this shoe during tempo runs. Intervals were very good. It's at those steady and moderate paces where I really felt the best in this shoe. Now, it can do easy paces, but it's not great at it. There's nothing wrong with it, but you just notice that it's firm and stiff as it's designed to roll off rather than pop off the ground like when you're jogging. You might like a softer or flexible shoe for your easy runs, then you might not enjoy this. I'm okay with it. I do like a firmer ride as much as I like my shoes springy. Now, let's compare it to other shoes. The Puma Deviate Nitro 2 is a pricier option, but when it's on sale, you can find it at a similar price to how much I bought the 361 Degrees Flame 3. It was right around 3,800 pesos or $70 when converted, but that's if you can find it on sale and if you're willing to stretch your budget, because it is a bit pricier than this one. For my preference, I like the ride of the Deviate Nitro 2 because it has a smoother midfoot to forefoot transition. The rocker starts a bit early here, just right below my metatarsals, and it was also more flexible at the toe off. Once the plate was a bit softer breaking in, made it a bit more better at easy paces and slow paces. It was very excellent going fast as well. Comfort-wise, the Deviate Nitro 2's upper fits snugly with a race-like fit. I did enjoy the comfort of that shoe. Combined with those stretchy laces and the thin tongue with its very soft material, overall was just more comfortable. As for traction, the Puma's outsole uses Puma grip. It's top-notch, on par with Adidas Continental rubber. Both are the top of the game when it comes to the outsole rubber. They're very grippy and very durable. And in comparison to the Anta HP, the Deviate Nitro 2 and the 361 Degrees Flame 3 have a narrower base at the heel. This makes the Anta HP a bit more stable, especially if you are a heavy heel striker. The more race-oriented Flame 3's upper is better. It's not as wide, but it has a softer mesh material at the toe box, has structural overlays at the sides that hug your feet, but it's not really restrictive. The Flame 3's midsole does feel softer or squishier. The midfoot and heel compresses more, giving you that sinking feeling when you stand on it. When you get to the forefoot, it becomes stiffer and wider as well, so it does help you to that roll-off. When running, this really isn't a soft experience. It's a very responsive ride. The midfoot and the back do compress a bit, but the stiff forefoot with this wide carbon plate really helps you roll forward, so overall it is a firm and very responsive ride. Versus the Anta HP, it feels soft underfoot again. on initial step in, but it's not as springy and it doesn't have that sink-in sensation. As you can see, there are no cutouts here in the midfoot to the heel. It is wider at the base, so it should be a bit more stable and you should feel more grounded in the shoe than the Flame 3. Now this is also a firmer ride and about as stiff as the Flame 3, but as I said earlier, it does have a smoother roll-off with that rolling guidance from the plate. It's just not as aggressive as the Flame 3. Again, this is smoother. The Flame 3 is more aggressive, geared towards being a race day shoe than this one. There's no clear better shoe here from these comparisons. It's more about what you prefer. More stability versus more nimble or race-oriented. And of course, the price factors in as well. I just found the Debate Nitro 2 to be much better on those easy and slower paces versus the Anta HP, as this isn't really much of a relaxing ride on those easy paces, but doesn't mean that you can't. You can on any shoe and run on them however you want. It's just the Debate Nitro 2 is a bit much better at going slow. That is, if you can find it on sale like how I got mine, or if you can stretch out your budget a bit more, because if you find it on sale, and this one is also on sale, this is still going to be very cheap. Like again, I bought it for 2,600 pesos. I haven't seen the Debate Nitro 2 sold for that low unless if it was secondhand and very used. Another budget-friendly carbon-plated shoe that I've tried is the X-Step 260X. It's also soft underfoot, only a little bit firmer than the Puma Debate Nitro 2. They'd have a bit more lower to the ground feel than this one, and it was a bit more responsive. There are also other options out there from lesser known brands. If you're also not looking for an edgy carbon plated shoe, then maybe you can find something else. Like the New Balance Propel V4 was a shoe that I was very happy with. If you can find one on sale, it does easy paces very well. It can also go fast. It's a good do-it-all shoe, like a jack-of-all-trades, master of none. If you can't find the Propel V4, there's also the Li-Ning Yueying 4 Pro, and I'm still testing it. I can already tell you that it's a good do-it-all shoe. When this is on sale, I bought it for 3,300 pesos or $55 to $60 USD, so you're gonna have to stretch out your budget a bit versus this one. I hope you got the point that the alternatives and options I've given you require you to stretch out your budget a little bit, because there's really nothing out there that compares with the Anta HP when it's at its lowest price on sale. What else can you buy at its sale price? Low-end daily trainers or casual running shoes? Clearly those don't measure up to the Anta HP's performance. I don't think it quite matches up to its competitors, but then again, I think this is priced accordingly. For the price I paid for this, it's just too cheap to pass up. Again, with the price thing, if you can get it this low and if you're on a very strict budget, the Anta HP is a very good choice. If I really need to only have one shoe because of a very strict budget, I can see myself going with this. It might not be the best at easy paces, but doable, and doesn't mean that I can't run slow in these. I honestly would prefer a more relaxed ride for my easy runs, and if that's all that I could spend, I'd pass on the other lower end stuff and just get these. Ending this video, I hope this review helped you determine if the Anta HP suits your needs. If you're comparing it to the 361 Degrees Flame 3, I hope my insights have clarified some key differences, especially since I know a lot of local runners are interested in how these two stack up. Basically, this is much more race-oriented and a bit more aggressive roll-off than this one, which is a bit more smoother and has a little bit more comfier side to it, though this is not a relaxed ride still. Anyway, if it comes down to price, you can't go wrong with this. I hope you have a nice day and stay tuned for my future videos. Keep running, stay fit, and be kind.